Okay, last small segment in today's lesson, we're going to be reviewing order of operations, which you would have reviewed already in order to pass your basic skills. All right, but PEMDAS, I hate the way PEMDAS is written out horizontally because I write it vertically like this because, let me fill this in, so parentheses, exponents, I write the M and D in the A and S in the same line because multiplication and division are equal in the hierarchy of things. So if we run into multiplication and division in the same problem, they must be completed from left to right. And the same thing with adding and subtracting. When I write PEMDAS out as PEMDAS, right, when I write it out this way, it looks like we multiply first and then divide. And I could tell you a little horror story. I actually had a student who went on a field visit up in a Rochester school, and she was working with a sub, and the sub was teaching the kids multiply first and then divide. She was teaching them go left to right. And when the students got different answers when they had been working with her, the sub actually said to the students, well, Miss So-and-so made a mistake. And, she was the one that was right. So then the cooperating teacher came back in the room. And so my student said to the cooperating teacher, I'm taking a math class right now. We learned that you go left to right for multiplying and dividing. And the cooperating teacher actually said, oh, no, you multiply first and then divide. And she even got on the phone with one of her colleagues, and the colleague confirmed, yeah, you multiply first and then divide. So 3 people ganged up on my poor student who was actually the one doing it correctly. So I know that this has been taught incorrectly. I feel like it's gotten better recently. I feel like the more recent texts have been better about emphasizing the fact that multiplying and dividing must be done left to right, and adding and subtracting must be done left to right, because this really was being incorrectly taught in the classrooms, as my poor student was able to attest to. So anyway, addition and subtraction must be completed from left to right. So I have no intention of allowing any of you to escape from my class unless you understand that adding doesn't come before subtracting, right? They go in the order that they occur from left to right. So what I have down below are 4 problems, and the answers are over here. I want you to pause the video, complete the 4 problems. If you get these answers, stop and you're done. If you don't get these answers, then I'm going to go over them. Okay, so right now, pause the video and work. If you click the video again to keep playing, you're going to see me going over the problems. Okay, so number 1, usually I suggest to students only do, a couple operations per line and bring everything back down. So I would start here by doing the exponents, and 1 squared, I purposely had this in here because people sometimes think it's 2, right? 1 times 1 is 1, right? So I'm going to do all my exponents here. And in parentheses, it becomes an order of operations problem all on its own within the parentheses. All right, so I'm going to do parentheses next. And I have adding and I have subtracting. So my order of operations says I have to do these from left to right. So I would get -1 plus 4, which is 3. Okay, so come back down here, I will have 16 minus 1 plus 3. So again, I don't add first, right? I start here first. This would be 15. 15 plus 3 is 18, and I hope that's the answer I have up here, and it is. Okay, so next problem. Let's see, some of you on basic skills put that was 6, right? I'm sure that you know better than that. That was just a careless mistake, I'm sure. So 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. So this would be 5 minus 8 plus 50 divided by, and then within the parentheses, that's its own order of operations problem. So I'm going to do the multiplying first and then the subtracting. So that would become 5. 5 squared is 25. All right, so within this box here, I got 5. And then I squared it. Okay, so now order of operations says that I've got subtracting, adding, dividing. All right, dividing goes first, and then bring everything else down. All right, so I always tell students do one step at a time, and then just recopy everything else. So 5 minus 8 plus, and then this answer is 2. And again, I have subtracting before adding, but I go left to right. So this would be -3 plus 2, which is -1. For problem 3, let's say I'm going to start here in the parentheses. Well, I have multiplying and dividing, so I have to go left to right. I have to start here. So I'm going to copy everything else down and do this first step. Right, that would be 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I have to do 4 cubed. All right, so I'm going to have 2. And then here times, oh, no, not 2. 4 cubed. So let's see, 4 cubed. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times another 4 is 64. Right? And again, it's so tempting, you see this 3 plus 2, it's so tempting to say 5, right? Oh, 3 plus 2, 5, and then 5 times 64. But that would be incorrect, right? I have to multiply. This is multiplication, this is addition. Multiplication comes first. 2 times 64 is 128, right? 128 plus 3 is 131. Okay, last problem, which is the most difficult. I'm going to start here in the parentheses. Okay, so I have to first multiply. That's 28. All right, 3 minus 28 is -25. 2 times. So I have -25 that I need to square. And then I have to divide by 50 times 3. Okay, so I have multiplying and dividing all in this line. All right, I'm going to go left to right. All right, the addition here is going to come last. So let's see, 2 times 25 is -50. -50 times 25, I could do it that way, or I could do 25 times 25 is 625. And then 2 times, because that would be positive 625. 625 divided by 50 times 3. All right, so 25 plus, so that would be 1250. And I'm assuming, I'm sorry, this should be a divides. I'm assuming you're doing this without your calculator. I should have said that at the beginning of the video. Do these without your calculator. Okay, so that would be this divided by 50. and then times 3. I'm going to put that way over here. So I'm actually going to use my method from before, right? The equal quotients method, where I said, well, I have to divide these. I don't have a calculator. This is a lot of work. I'm going to divide both of these by 10. Right? That's the method of equal quotients. I divide both by 10. That'll leave me with 125 divided by 5, which is 25. All right, so that just made the problem a little bit easier. So that is 25, and then I have to do the times 3 next. All right, so 25 times 3 is 75. And then I'm almost out of space here. Oh, I can extend my page. How nice. It doesn't work with real paper, so that's really nice. That's a nice feature. I get here, and then my final answer is 100.